Hey everyone, welcome back to Play Cascade on another episode of Your Turn. This week we didn't get too much stuff, but we got some crazy things going down that I think would still require some conversation. Pokémon. That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, because just can't get enough of that. And of course, for us, we need to go ahead and beat that algorithm. So we're just gonna abuse the shit out of it. Yes,
Pokémon.
Your views matter to us, so we can get better, bigger, and sell Raid Shadow Legends. That's it. Get ready for that. Brace for impact. But yes, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. First thing on the stuff to address is they decided to bump Splatoon 3 as Japan's fastest selling game after 2 months to become Japan's fastest selling game. And on top of that, has sold 10 million worldwide in 3 days.
Yeah, it's freaking insane.
That's nuts. And honestly, I kind of expected it though. Mm-hmm. Because it's Pokemon. Okay, Pokemon is by and large the biggest selling franchise ever. Mm-hmm. The only thing that even comes close to it, and it's not even by that much, is Minecraft. Minecraft isn't even a close second.
Yeah.
But imagine Minecraft. Minecraft has outsold Mario's entire lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, but Pokemon's still dominating over that. That just gives you a scope of how big this is.
Wait, are you sure? Like this month's sale, or are you talking about like lifetime sale
for Pokemon?
Because Minecraft does like crazy numbers, by the way.
Yeah, no, Minecraft does crazy numbers. It has eclipsed Mario's lifetime sales.
Oh, okay.
Their lifetime sales eclipsed Mario's lifetime sales. And Minecraft is that much newer of a system.
Yeah.
They're second in lifetime sales in general, but they're nowhere near the titan that is Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
And this 10 million in 3 days just solidifies that fact.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are like, wait a minute, actually, there's going to be some refunds, and a lot of people are getting refunds. Yeah, a lot. But what's really a lot? Like, even if it's 1,000 out of 10 million?
Probably 1%. Like,
you know,
so a million refunds. Like,
yeah, a million refunds. Oh, well, that's not really the fastest. It's actually 9 million. You really don't think that he eclipsed the 10 million again after those 3 days?
Yeah.
You know, like, let's be real. It's still selling. And honestly, like, I want to know if the body horror glitches are impacting it in a bad way or in a good way.
Yeah.
You know? Like, is there people out there like, I want to be part of this meme and, like, try to do TikTok things to show off their body horror experiences with Pokemon? Or is there people out there that are just avoiding it like the plague, and and it could have been much bigger?
Well, it also reminds me about Fallout and Skyrim. Despite how much bugs there are in that, it's still sold extremely well.
Yeah, and it makes, like I said, it makes you wonder: is it impacting it in a good way or a bad way?
Yeah,
you know, because there's a lot of people like, oh man, they're so bad. I know somebody who bought WWE 2K20 or 2K22 or something like that, like the one that was the glitch fest that it ever was, because he wanted to get on the algorithm of like TikTok or something like that. I'm like, why would you waste that much money on a brand new game?
Yeah,
as something you're not going to enjoy
unless you're making money off of it.
Unless you're making money off of it, you know. I was like, that's, you know, so it makes me wonder if that type of mentality, because TikTok has revealed a lot of humans' mental illnesses, how insane people going, I want to buy a bad game so I can show how bad of the experience it is so I can get popularity. Is that what we're doing? That's weird. That's very weird. Why are we doing this?
I don't try to understand TikTok.
Well, and it's not just that. It's probably YouTube Shorts too. I can almost guarantee it. You know.
Yeah.
And them doing compilations of that crap, and like, who knows? You know, like, we're gonna probably play some bad games, but I bought them to collect them, and I know I have bad games, and I know I'm gonna play them, and I know they're gonna be bad, but they're not part of any algorithm.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be swimming up the wrong side of the creek on this end, but it just makes you wonder, because just as a segue, have you seen how much weird crap is in it?
The glitches are just
Oh my god,
hilarious.
dude.
The memes that are coming out for it too. The funniest one I saw was the what is it? The white Diglett and then the googly eyes, and they combined it together. Oh crap! I got a good laugh out of that one. The speedrun's gonna be lit as hell though. I'm
Oh
curious
my
how they're
god,
gonna.
the speedruns are going to be really weird.
Yeah.
Really wild. Especially because it's all open world. Now, I've played it, so unlike you, I've actually had a couple experiences,
Mhm.
but I haven't had anything really wild.
Mhm.
Like, one of them is my arm broke, so it was just dangling above me, and then I just nonchalantly tossed a ball out of my weird spaghetti liggly arm. That's just like snapped above me, and it's just like sitting there, just wiggling about. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, dude? What? That's just. He's already confused, my guy. You just don't need to do it, And that was it. Like, it's kind of fixed itself, after a loud crunch. And they're like, oh, yeah, that feels good. Just needed to get that loosened up. But that was it. Everything else has been, like, weird camera angles where it would get locked underneath the environment and can't get back out until, like, I get, like, in another fight. And then, like, the camera would snap somewhere else. Like, that's the only time I've ever had it, and it's been a moderate issue, but it wasn't like such a huge issue. Like going up the mountains and stuff in the snow pass, annoying as hell. But it doesn't happen very often, and when I'm out on the open plains and all this other stuff, no, didn't happen.
Okay.
It's just there. So I haven't had any other experiences beyond that, but I've seen some weird shit, and
I'm living it through, or I'm experiencing it through the internet. When they bullied the shit out of Psyduck is hilarious too. So the first video I saw was they were climbing on a pipe, and Psyduck was following them, and then Psyduck was like too scared to walk across. So he just like walks off, and you see him like flapping his wings, and he just disappears. And then later on, somebody else was bullying him. I guess they sent him to they threw him out, and he's on the pipe. And then when Psyduck walks towards them, they slapped him, and they pushed Psyduck off the pipe.
That's funny.
So bully Psyduck.
Just hashtag bully Psyduck. Imagine Psyduck as any weird lefty rag on Twitter and just bully it. That's the way we need to do it. And yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
And outside all the weird nonsense that's going on, the body horror glitches and all the weird goofiness and the refunds and stuff, what has your opinion of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
Crap, I don't know. Like,
I know you haven't played it, but like,
yeah.
From your orbiting experience, what's your opinion overall? Are you glad you're not playing it? Are you thinking that maybe are you burnt out, or like what are you feeling?
I mean, for the most part, I am kind of burnt out on Pokemon. Since Shield and Sword, I haven't really beaten it. I mean, for the most part, it's just like more Pokemon. It's I have a feeling if I bought it and started playing it, I would have fun. But when you get close to the Elite Four, I think I'd probably get bored. Either that, or I should probably try to beat Shield and Sword and see how I feel after I beat Shield and Sword. But
right.
Yeah, and then there's Legends
Arceus.
Yeah, and Diamond and Pearl.
Oh yeah, that game came out.
I know, everybody forgot about it too. But yeah,
which is weird because a lot of people wanted that remake.
Yeah, and I heard it did okay.
No, it did well.
Oh, okay,
it actually did well. It didn't do major numbers, but it just is. Sometimes that happens.
Well, the interesting thing too is that if you look at it, like why it did so, like I think I have a feeling why Scarlet and Violet did so well is because it took on a new dynamic. I think people are looking more towards a new Pokemon franchise because Arceus did extremely well, and then
Arceus, from my understanding, is now the best-selling spin-off, quote-unquote spin-off
Yeah.
Pokemon out there, and I think people are hoping that they're going to just get more Arceus through Scarlet and Violet
Yeah.
with just a tad bit more battles.
Yeah.
But I think that would ruin the reason why Legends exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you added RPG elements to normal Mario and it became a turn-based RPG,
Mm-hmm.
there'd be no reason to have a Mario RPG game.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with like Fire Emblem. If Fire Emblem was more like, say, a 3D platformer,
Mm-hmm.
nobody would really care to have another flat platformer.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh wow, this would be great. That way, I don't have to buy a game twice.
Yeah.
You know, like that's their thing.
So I have a feeling that they're expecting something new rather than that original turn-based. Because even Pogo did really, really well, and it's like really different from what.
Well, I think Pogo did it. The reason why it's doing really well because it appeals to his nostalgia and it
Accessibility
you
too.
know, it's accessible, and it gets rid of all of the idiosyncrasies that normal Pokemon have.
Yeah.
Like four combat abilities. Nope, it's one plus 2 ultimates. That's it.
Yeah.
And all you do is just tap on the thing. That's it. You know, that's all you do. And then you just see some Pokemon that are nearby, catch them, and you carry on. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't even have to like log in all the time. You just log in once a week, and then you just do that if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, that's just why a lot of people play it, because it's mindless Pokemon.
Yeah.
It really is mindless Pokemon because it's just enough Pokemon to tickle your nostalgia and keep up with what has changed without all the other things that Pokemon has done.
Yeah.
Like none of the Gigantamaxing, none of the tandem battles, none of the rotation battles, none of the just none of the double battles, none of the just any of it. Like none of this Gigantamaxing, the Terra raids, none of it. It's just straightforward this. And you get to keep your forms and all this other crap, and just that's it. And I think that's the reason why it's so successful, because even when you're just trying to connect with a family member who's obsessed with Pokemon, you can still understand everything in Pokemon Go.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's just simple.
But it's different. I still think it has more to do with just people wanting a new formula.
Well, I don't think a lot of people just played it because it's a new formula. Like, oh, this is so much better than my previous classic. No, a lot of people will want to play the classic stuff because of that. In fact, when Pokemon Go came out, all the Pokemon eShop games on the 3DS have maxed out. They're all number 1, 2, and 3 and stuff like that. They used to be like, they kind of fluctuate sometimes, but ever since Pokemon Go, they've stayed in the top 3 ever since.
Dang, I don't know that.
And it's because they want it. Like I said, it's simple. Like, if you weren't too much of a Pokemon fan and you were just orbiting Pokemon and stuff, but you missed the old Gen 1 and 2, you play Pokemon Go just to have Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Okay.
It's just easier to do that. Now, I do think some people desiring a new formula, but if that was the case, Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu would have been a hell of a lot better of a sales.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know? Because they had that same formula, just in a console version.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's just easy of access. It's stupid mindlessness. That's it.
Yeah.
And then when they got what is supposed to be Pokemon quote-unquote Yellow remake with Pikachu and Eevee, it didn't sell well. In fact, it sold so terribly that they're not considering that as a third pillar of remakes.
I know, everybody's like... Who bought the Pokeball? I almost forgot about those two.
Yeah. Like, that's basically it, you know? Like, nobody wants to do that. And honestly, that is sad, because you got Pokemon Let's Go, Togepi, and Pichu right there, and you can't use your stupid Pokeball controller. So, but yeah, no, I think there's a lot to do with the fact that Arceus was more of what people wanted from Pokemon, and seeing a lot of the like flavor of Arceus in the previews and stuff. I'm pretty sure that was what got people to buy Scarlet and Violet.
Okay.
Now, I like some of the stuff in it. I've been by it and I played it. Now, out of all the Pokemon I played, and let's pretend this, I stopped playing at Ruby and Sapphire, got back into it at X and Y, but I'm not like as serious about collecting stuff anymore, right? And now I'd probably put Scarlet and Violet kind of above Sun and Moon. I wasn't a big fan of Sun and Moon. It's better than Sun and Moon. I don't like Sword and Shield at all, except for like some of the designs.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, I'm talking about just the whole experience as a game.
Yeah.
Because some of those Pokemon will end up being another game, and I'll be excited about it. But like X and Y is above that, and then of course like it's Ruby Sapphire and Gen 1 and 2 is more on the top. Only because nostalgia, and really that's the simplest it was at the time, and you had like Gold and Silver had basically 2 sets of gyms and stuff, and that's roughly basically it, you know? And it ignores X and Y, well, not X and Y, Black and White. It ignores Diamond and Pearl. It ignores like all the ones that were in between that I never played, you know? And you know, and I'm not one of those people who think Gen 1 and 2 designs were the best. No, they weren't. You can never say Gen 1 was epitome of designs, or 2 was epitome of designs, when you literally thought of a ball with eyeballs and went, yeah, that thing can electrocute and explode. Here's what I think is stupid. Okay? Fungoose, people used to make fun of Fungoose because Fungoose was supposed to pretend to be a Pokeball to attract prey. And they're like, that already happens with Voltorb. But that's not the case. It makes more sense with Fungoose to have it to attract prey and attack those, and humans are part of that situation, than Voltorb, who is hidden like a Pokeball to avoid predators. But you get attacked and approached by humans constantly for looking like a damn Pokeball.
None of it makes sense.
But somebody picked up a Pokeball, or just a ball. They picked up a beach ball and was like, yeah, you know what? This can definitely electrocute people. And if you get too angry, it goes boom.
Well, one thing I did notice about Electrode and Voltorb is that
I hated Electrode too. I didn't like the weird.
It's AC and DC in the Japanese illustrations in the in like the school books when they want to introduce alternating current and direct current.
Yeah,
they use those. They use them
color codes.
Yeah, which is Electrode and Voltorbs. That's what it is.
Still, it's dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah. Well, because it didn't click until I saw a old Japanese like school book, and they were like showing electrical currents. I was like, oh, that's why they use those.
Yeah, it's still stupid. Why would you hide as a Pokeball? Like, it would make sense that it's electric if you're going to try to say, oh, it's color code and stuff. But why would you still look like a Pokeball? I think that's literally one of the shticks in Red and Blue and Gold and Silver is you click on a Pokeball thinking it's an item, and you hear and he attacks you. I was like, they knew what they were doing with that design philosophy.
Well, what about the what is it, in X and Y, when you finally Love made Sylveon evolve into, or Eevee into a Sylveon.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of weird because, so you tell me this entire time nobody loved their Pokemon that much until somebody was like, oh, I'm going to pet this thing and I'm going to treat it as a pet and really love it, and then it evolves into a Sylveon. Like, throughout this entire time, nobody gave a fuck about their Pokemon until now.
Everyone was adamantly believed that Eevee was strictly a combat veteran Pokemon. That you are a combat dog, that is it.
Yeah. And
then one day somebody's like, oh, this one's retired after so many years. I'm going to go ahead and give it some love. And it just becomes a really old-ass Sylveon. Just, I've seen some shit.
And that's how they discovered how, it evolved. Like just weird stuff like that. Or baby Pokemons, like, oh, these Pikachus just kind of show up out of nowhere. Oh my god, they could be born from baby forms, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least with Gold and Silver, when eggs were introduced, they kind of excused it with the fact that a lot of the Pokemon in the natural wild would actually shield their children, and that's just how other Pokemon are, or animals in real life are. They shield their children. You have to actually like kind of get really in there to find out. Oh, this is what baby octopi look like. Because if you try to go near an octopus's nest, they were like, "I'm gonna tear your goddamn dick off."
Yeah,
like they're not friendly about the situation.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it took forever to find baby squids and baby octopi because of how protective or how secluded their like nests are and stuff. And that just reflects well with the way Pokemon was.
Oh, okay.
The egg part is still weird.
Yeah,
because even mammals can just have sex with fish, and then there's no DNA coming out of the male at all in that egg. It's just, oh, he takes after his mother, because if he took out anything from his father, that Growlithe would look a little weird. And then, yeah, so it's ridiculous. But overall, like, some of the newer designs, in fact, one of my favorite designs is Urshifu. Like, he's not like up there, but I really like Urshifu's design from Sword and Shield. He's from the DLC.
okay.
He's that like karate bear thing. I really liked his ass. He's really cool. And there's some designs in Scarlet and Violet that I seem to enjoy, but not. I haven't found any that look great. But the Paradox forms look stupid in the future. Violet version got hosed on those. They just look ridiculous. So, but enough talk of Pokemon, because that was
the Pokemon
20
podcast,
minutes long. Let's kind of touch on a couple other things that happened this week. You got something you can share?
I guess Kamiya is teasing about Baynetta 4, or he wants to do the next one.
Yes. So, basically, I think it was an interview or some kind of like passing comment that Kamiya talked about. Basically, supposedly he's very pleased with Bayonetta 3's sales. I think the whole drama that we even got to cover, us, on the Helena Taylor, Jennifer Hale time of mix and stuff, changed some stuff up. But he kind of teased that Bayonetta, like, he already has ideas for 4. And he's kind of hinted on stuff that was kind of very spoilery, so I'm not going to touch too much about it. But basically, he's like, what it would be nice if we followed other characters in Bayonetta as well. Basically.
Okay, I remember that now.
Basically, he's basically saying, I have ideas for Bayonetta 4 already because the story is already convoluted. Which, honestly, I'll let him have it. You know what? The more convoluted Bayonetta's intentionally storytelling is, the more I'm just gonna roll with it. I fucking love it. Like, it's not even like I love it because, like, it's not like Disney and Kingdom Hearts where it's just convoluted, but it's trying to pass off as some kind of deep story. It's not. It's convoluted. It's circular. No one makes sense. None of it makes sense. It'll never make sense.
Kill the angels. That's all you need to know. Right?
No, there's no angels in the third one.
Kill the demons.
There's no demons in the well, you're the demon in the third one. But it's weird.
Okay.
And honestly, it's weird and convoluted in a campy way.
Okay.
Like, it feels like it's just like, oh my god, thank God I just like to see her ass. Like, it's a weird story. But I do like the perspectives of how they handled the game's direction and stuff and style.
I would say we'll see where it goes. Mostly because there was such a huge hiatus between 2 to 3, on top of that.
It'll take another 8 years to make.
I know. What was that one dragon game that they were going to work on? And then Scalebound. Yeah, it got canned, and then Bayonetta almost didn't come out.
Yeah, and Kamiya was on a lot of projects too, so you don't know how long. Like, if he was on another development cycle for Bayonetta 4 right now, you know, like, if he's as long as he's on it, it'll probably take about 5 years.
Yeah, okay.
If they start right now, like as of this recording,
yeah,
which is Saturday. But that's still like 5 years. That'd be reasonable, right?
Yeah.
But he's usually a director of like 2 different projects at a time.
Well, I heard though
At least he oversees something.
3 didn't seem as polished as 2, and 2 didn't seem as polished as 1.
Well, 2, no, because 1 got a lot of bugs and stuff on it, but 2 got like a major, like high-end reception. And even like on Game Informer, which is apparently really hard to get perfect 10s on, got a perfect 10.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people still think 2 is still the best out of them all in terms of gameplay, mechanics, style, response, and all that.
I don't know though, because some of the stuff I see, like very little things that I notice don't seem as good as 1. Just because like her animations and stuff like that looks a lot better compared to 2. And then they said even in 3, there's a couple of things that they had to like cut.
You can argue about
Maybe it's just me.
You can argue about certain things might be missing in 3, because like for 3, from the wide of array of people who are like critical of the whole series and stuff like that and big fans of the series, even their reception is kind of like, no, it's really good, but it's not as good as 2.
No, okay.
And a lot of people are praising 2 up and down. So I think a lot of people who are looking at 2, such as you, are like, they're seeing small things that might actually even be innocuous to the whole thing. You know, like there was people who were knocking points down because her hair looked stupid. You know, because I think her original hair and her original design in 1 is still the best design.
Yeah.
Okay, I still think that. But Kamiya approached her design as like he intended her to constantly change because that's her style type of thing.
Yeah, she's really stylish at all times.
Which makes sense why she looks the way she does at 2 and the way she looks in 3. But I don't like those choices. That doesn't matter because that is, you know, I can accept that. But there's people who didn't like the change and knocked it down a couple pegs.
But holy shit, like hold on to Baynetta because she's like a really good character. You'd be dumb to like let her go, so...
Yeah, I don't think Kamiya's plans on ever letting it go. I think part of me, listening and watching some of his interviews and stuff, I think Baynetta, in a spiritual way, is the way he wanted Dante.
Okay.
Like, he wanted Dante to be a certain way, but Capcom didn't want it that way. They wanted him more marketable, and he did not want that. And I think that was the situation, is why he left. And then made Baynetta, which is weird. I was like, it makes no... I remember teasing him about it. I'm like, why would you leave to make something different? You even said, I want to make something different. And proceed to make the exact same fucking thing. You know?
Well, I mean, I guess it's also like we have Star Ocean and Tales.
I would have been fine if somebody went... if he went, I want to make something different. Made something different. Sucked. And goes, I'm going back to this. Then, yeah, I get it. You know, go back to what you feel is familiar. But he literally is like, that's like saying, hey, I'm tired of making milkshakes. I'm going to make milk malts. They're the same thing, you know?
Well, I mean, that's also why they had Tales of Symphonia and Star Ocean, and or like the Tales of series versus the Star Ocean series. Because the guy was just kind of tired of making Tales of, and then they're like, okay, well, you can do whatever you want now since we're letting you go. And he goes and makes Star Ocean, and they're kind of like the same thing where it's like a free roaming 4-team RPG action type of thing, and then like Tales of's doing really, really well.
Well, it took Tales to like really like amp up too. Honestly, I think it was Tales of Symphonia when it became a like GameCube exclusive, and it was like such a hot topic at the time because it was one of those, this RPG is totally a Sony RPG, and it became such a hot topic that it was going to GameCube and become a GameCube exclusive is what made it kind of land a staple in North America. Because they're like, how dare Nintendo get our RPG? So because they were complaining so much, it became very well known, and I think that's the whole reason why a lot more people have such an affection towards Symphonia. That and then, of course there's a lot of Tales people out there like, actually these two games that predate it are far better. Now, I don't know too much about that. I only played Tales of Vesperia, which from my understanding came out just before Symphonia, and it got a remake or a remaster and it even got ported to the Switch after that. But for the most part, that Symphonia is what took note for a broader market of JRPGs in the West.
No, okay.
And I think that's why Tales is now starting to like just escalate to no end now.
I know.
Which is weird because Tales of Arise does not look... It looks like a more intense Atelier game.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. It doesn't look like a Tales game, which is weird to me.
Return to simpler design. There's too much going on, I think.
Yeah, I can actually agree with that. Like, for at least Tales. Like, it doesn't feel... It feels like it's slowly losing its identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just... I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's coming off the same way.
It all looks like Code Vein. That's kind of the issue.
Maybe. I actually haven't made a comparison. I should probably do that. That way I can make fun of Kevin Street about it. Because that's just my goal. But no, yeah, like it's just the same way. Like, it is just the same way. But yeah.
Yeah, Baynetta.
Baynetta 4. Is it happening? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I don't think it's going to be even conceivable yet.
Uh-huh.
And I also
with
think
how
it
good
shouldn't.
the sales are, I think they're going to do it.
They'll probably watch the sales before they make. But Nintendo, like, they want to work with Nintendo really closely.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nintendo will probably want an Astral Chain 2 from them before a Bayonetta 4 gets funded.
Okay.
But Bayonetta can also always work somewhere else. But I'm pretty sure they rather not, because let's be honest, if they go back with Sega's like, we're going to promote this, and they just control everything, Kamiya would just hate everything about that. You know? I think the whole reason why he likes being able to explore Bayonetta as a character is because Nintendo's just like, here, have this, do what you need to do with it, make sure it just fits these roles, and then walks away. Yeah. Which is weird for Nintendo to do to begin with, because Nintendo usually just puts their dick in everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, if they trust you as a company that you know what you're doing, they really don't care. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a lot of stuff we can get out of just one weird tease, right? There's another tease, though. We're going to just try to go ahead and try to keep that short this time. Sakurai.
Uh-huh.
He kind of... on one of his channels, he talked about
Kid Icarus
thing. Yes, he does. He now has a channel about game design and stuff, and he brings up points, which is good, you know, and it works in the fundamental fundamental functions that he works in. But I think it's really worth anyone to watch. Period, and just to get perspective and understanding of where something can come along and how you can think about and stuff too. But one of his recently conversations basically is that he kind of mentioned that a game would be that somebody could play as quote unquote Icarus in an example that he was using as far as a character, right? And then he goes uproaring, and that it would be uproaring on a home console or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, I wonder if someone out there will ever port it. So basically, he, low-key basically hints, somebody please port Kid Icarus Uprising. And to that I say, go ahead. Because we've talked about ports before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, honestly, Kid Icarus getting a port would be great. I think it'll actually sell a whole damn lot.
Yeah.
And... especially on Switch right now. Jesus Christ. And honestly,
well, how do they do the controls though? Because Kid Icarus is really, really weird on how they controlled. Because it's not your standard shooting game. Well, it kind of is, but it doesn't use your typical controls.
Yeah, it doesn't use your typical fundamental controls, but it can. That's the point. And obviously the characters and stuff will just pop up in the corners instead of on a second screen. And on top of that, they'll probably implement the touch pad on the Switch itself too. And not to mention, they'll probably do another thing that you can use your Switch motion controls.
Yeah, okay.
So they'll probably add 3 different unique motion controls and stuff like that people will like. I know people will hear motion controls, even though it's an option, they're gonna be like, the game's ruined. You're not playing with that though. So, piss off.
You're mostly at home playing anyways.
Yeah, like it's just like the same people who complain about local co-op but never play with friends. But yeah, it's stuff like that. I also think they should port Codename Steam, because I'm always gonna plug that son of a bitch, and maybe even Ever Oasis.
Oh, okay.
Like they have abilities. They've done that with Sushi Striker. The touchpad stuff that works so much better on the Switch, on the 3DS, does not work the same way on the Switch.
Okay.
You do have manual controls with control sticks, and it's not as fun.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of irritating. But the game's fun entirely.
Yeah.
If you're playing with friends and stuff. So, but yes, there's that. And is there anything else, since we are literally pushing this thing to its limits again?
Sony is scared of Microsoft, and it's fucking hilarious.
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah.
Because we're still dealing with two titans that are just absolutely like horrendous to their consumer.
Well, I can't remember what it was, but it was like this type of I want to say it was like kind of like a lawsuit, not a lawsuit, but a court hearing, I guess. Basically, Sony talking about like, oh, please don't take this away from us because we really, really need Call of Duty, which is like stupid because why are you depending on a third party to push numbers? That's
like Nintendo depending on Square Enix to make Final Fantasy VII on the 64.
Yeah.
See how that worked out? They pitched that, they were playing that whole thing up and down, and then suddenly like, no, we're not. No. Like that's just the same way. Maybe they should probably appeal to the indie scene that they don't like at all, apparently, because it doesn't push their graphics, and Nintendo does that. So
yeah, well, Sony wants it to be more like Nintendo, which is basically them saying that they want more original IPs, so they're going to start dumping original IPs, which is something that they should have been doing in the first place. Why the hell?
They said that before.
Yeah.
They literally said that, like, the pitch, the PlayStation 5 is like, get ready for like a resurgence of like all the games that you used to love and all these franchises that are going to revisit again. I've seen no Legend of Dragoon. I've seen no Tomba. I've seen no, like, I haven't even seen the remake of Medieval ported to the PS5 yet.
I'm still pissed off about Ape Escape. We've gotten what? Fucking, because it was the Ape Escape one was PS1.
You still got 3 games though. Legend of Dragoon got 1.
We've got many generations. Well, Legend of Dragoon, that's on Square Enix. So
no, it's not. Legend of Dragoon is Sony.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay, I don't know that. Not know your stuff. But the same thing with Sly Cooper. Same thing with Jak and Daxter. They have a library. Why aren't they fucking using it? Because they put 7 different studios on one game and then they release it physically. That still requires a fucking download, and for some reason you can't just put that on your box like a man. Instead you put just this small little bit on a CD.
Yeah.
You guys are weak.
But the issue is also adoption. Like, basically, can you sell it? The biggest issue with Sony is that once it comes out, they kind of hope that people would just buy it, adopt it, and be like, "Oh, check out this type of cool tech I got." Because it's just look at the Vita.
Look
the Vita was like the issue that they didn't push it or sell it. They're just kind of like, "Hey, let's hope everybody buys it," and then
because we're Sony, it's great,
and then
it's
like,
a great piece of work.
Yeah, it's an entertainment device. It's like, well, where the fuck are the games?
Yeah, and well, look at how they've been advertising since I think the later end of the PS2. They've changed everything to like the way graphics and way the characters look and way the games feel more immersive, feel more this, feel more that. But the games are slowly, because everyone is trying to desperately hit these benchmarks all the time. The games are suffering. And this isn't just a Sony thing. Like, you can get most of the games that you would want on these two consoles on the PC anyway. But the problem is the AAA development is got to hit these benchmarks to show why you need to invest $500 in these damn consoles, or $600 into your new graphics card, so you could see this one level that looks really good, and then the rest are hallways because it's crunch time and they got to make 30 levels.
PSVR, yeah.
It's just it's the same thing over and over and over again. I could buy most of the these exclusives on my PC and they'll play probably even better. And I don't even want to do that because it's always the same crap.
Well,
and if it's not physical, why even bother?
Yeah, they're tech demos though. That's another thing too, just to show how fancy this one room is.
You need
how fancy.
You need this. And people who are buying these and looking at the advertising angles, Sony basically is like, buy this and then buy this game to show off that you deserve why you invested $500 into this system. Whereas Nintendo has always been like, these are games. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all they've been doing. And there's a lot of people who grew up kind of in my age group that jumped ship from Nintendo because they weren't being mature enough. And now they're just like frustrated because they're always having to buy these stupid games that are broken, or like you have to get these elite, but they're like getting nickeled and dimed. And then they just go and play like Shovel Knight and like, man, this game's fun. Why can't we have more games like that? Bitch, have you not seen the indie scene on any system whatsoever, let alone on the Switch, which is just dominant everywhere? You know, that's the whole reason why Nintendo does the whole indie stuff. Because they know those games sell on a Nintendo system. They're not going to be pitching, look at the graphics being pushed on the system that's being overshadowed by this system. They're not doing that. Why would you do that?
And we're not hating on Sony, but I wish they would do better, because
I am.
God, just lately they've been like they're making so many bad decisions. It's like
moving to California.
And then cutting off their Japanese wing. No, we love Japan. Kill the Japan studio. Yeah.
Yeah, but that studio was like, we talked about that too. The studio was just not making anything anymore.
I know, but
they're like, why? Like, could they have shifted development into it and stuff? Yeah, but that would have to basically start off from square one.
I don't know.
And so for them, on a financial level, they're like, no, we can't retrain you. You know, that's like training a coal miner to code from the coal mine company. They're not going to do that. They're going to let you go, let somebody else do it for you. And that's basically it. But yeah, Sony, if they want to survive, they're going to have to adapt and probably like not just make Boy Simulator Ragnarok.
Well, even then though too, Game Pass is choking the hell out of them because they can't afford that. Like they're basically coming out and saying that they're scared as hell of Game Pass because Game Pass is just moving Xboxes like crazy, because you could just get a huge library for $10 a month, and then their consoles are available. I know, but still, it's convenience. Like
it's convenience until it no longer is.
Yeah.
The problem is people keep saying it's great. Yeah, it's great till it no longer is. People are saying that about Disney Plus until it no longer is.
Yeah, we'll see.
They're already removing like series just willy nilly because it's just not that season for the show.
Wait until we start getting Xbox Game Pass games. Ew. Basically, it's gonna be shovelware that will be free, but it pads it out, much like Netflix exclusives.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Because the point of having Netflix was so that you could get the shows that you missed on TV. Like on demand, and then those started going away. So Netflix is like, "Oh, we need people to come here
and see exclusives.
Yeah. So we'll make our own." And they're fucking shit.
Dude, 98% of it. There's like one or two like saving graces sometimes.
Yeah.
The like Christmas Mailman one, I forgot, it was like Klaus or something like that.
Uh-huh.
That's a good show. That's a good movie, but that's a Netflix exclusive. You know.
Well, everybody's talking about Stranger Things, and it was like. It was okay. It could have been like really condensed down.
I think the thing is it's because it's marketable.
But the rest of the seasons looks pretty terrible. And then season 1 was like good, but it wasn't great. And I have a feeling that Xbox is going to start doing Xbox Game Pass exclusives.
Wait till they start changing shit on some of the games, and they're like, "Oh, it's because we need to modernize that game."
George Lucas, yeah.
Yep. You're gonna have Jabba the Hutt scenes that are cut on the cutting room floor added in. You're like, I didn't need this.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till that happens, and they're gonna say, "Well, that's too bad. This is our game. You're just there playing it." And then some of the people will start realizing, "Oh, Oh, that's how it's gonna be then, huh?
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be it's gonna get it's gonna hit a sour note because Pandora's already having issues like that too because people don't want to listen to Pandora very often as much either. Like it's still popular per se, but it's nowhere near its peak anymore.
Well, it's good if you're like in the middle of nowhere, but other than that, like...
And for the most part, it's because people go, can I play XYZ? No, that lead singer had an issue, so we're not doing that one. Oh, that's blah, blah, blah. We're not doing that one.
Yeah.
Oh, like, so... And then they're like, so I'm not allowed to listen to my music. Oh, it's not your music. Well, then I'm going to start playing my music again.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly the situation that the CDs, that's why vinyls are coming back ad nauseum.
So yeah, we'll see when the what is it, it falls off its like graph when like it builds up and then it starts to even level out and then it just careens
and
into a chasm.
The whole reason why they're doing that is because that way you can still play the classic Crash Bandicoot, and they're going to eventually edit Tana if somebody complains about it somewhere on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then it's going to steamroll out of that. Something to that point.
Yeah.
I feel like. But yeah, now that we just had a, what is it? 46 minutes of a your turn. This was a huge one.
Nothing happened this week.
Nothing happened this week. So, not a single thing. We just decided to listen to our sweet, sexy voices. And yeah. So I would like to thank you all guys for coming in and listening to our extended episode of Your Turn. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you really like our content, share it with some other people. And
we will see you on the other side.
Hey everyone, this is Paraka.
And Ghost.
I would like to say thank you for listening to our podcast.
If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and share our video with your friends.
You can also follow and support us on other social media such as Minds and Rumble. Links in the description below.